Malaysian PM Anwar announces cash handouts to ease living costs. This is a lifeline for millions. Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has rolled out a bold relief package to ease the burden of soaring living costs. But here's where it gets controversial. Some critics argue the timing looks more like an election strategy than genuine welfare reform. Starting August 31st and running through December 31st, every adult Malaysian will be eligible for a one-time 100 ringgit cash handout, roughly $24, redeemable at over 4,000 participating retailers nationwide. In total, 22 million citizens stand to benefit from this direct injection of funds, designed to shore up household budgets and keep everyday spending afloat. And this is the part most people miss. The government will also shave fuel subsidies to reduce the pump price of petrol from 2.05 ringgit per litre to 1.99 ringgit per litre strictly for Malaysian citizens. At the same time, planned toll increases on 10 key expressways will be frozen, sparing commuters from another round of rate hikes. To top it off, Anwar has announced an extra public holiday on September 15 to coincide with Malaysia Day, a symbolic gesture meant to boost morale and domestic travel. Economists offer mixed reactions. Ye Kim Leng of Sunway University in Kuala Lumpur says low and middle-income families will welcome these measures as much-needed cost-of-living relief. Meanwhile, Lavanya Venkateshwaran, senior economist at Overseas Chinese Banking Corp., points out that these policies complement Bank Negara's 25 basis point interest rate cut in July, a textbook example of countercyclical policy aimed at stimulating a slowing economy. Growth is forecast to ease from an annualized 4.4% in the first half of 2025 to around 3.5% in the second half, she notes. Venkateshwaran also highlights that the extra handout equates to just 0.1% of Malaysia's GDP, making it a modest but targeted support for consumer spending. Yet just days before these announcements, the opposition Perikatan Nasional coalition called for a mass protest in Kuala Lumpur demanding Anwar's resignation over high living costs and unfulfilled reforms. Police estimate up to 15,000 people may join the rally this Saturday. So what do you think? Is this relief package a genuine effort to help ordinary Malaysians, or a politically motivated gesture aimed at silencing critics? Will these short-term fixes spark real change, or do we need deeper, structural reforms to tackle the root causes of inflation and inequality? Share your thoughts below. Merdeka Day surprise, Malaysians to receive $130 each, what you need to know. In a bold move to alleviate the financial strain on citizens, Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim announced on July 23 that every adult citizen aged 18 and older will receive a cash payment of $100, approximately 30 Singapore dollars, in honor of Merdeka Day, celebrated on August 31. This initiative is part of the Sumbanan Aziz Rama, SARA, program, aimed at addressing the growing concerns regarding the rising cost of living. This one-time financial assistance will be accessible from August 31 until December 31 and can be utilized for purchasing essential items at over 4,100 participating stores nationwide. Major retailers such as Maiden, Lotuses, EconSave, and 99 Speed Mart, along with various local shops, will accept this aid. Prime Minister Anwar emphasized that the assistance is allocated on an individual basis rather than per household. For instance, a family consisting of a husband, wife, and 2 adult children would collectively receive $400. This initiative is expected to benefit around 22 million Malaysians, with a total budget of $2 billion set aside for this purpose. Furthermore, the total funding for the Rama Cash Contribution (STR) and SARA programs will rise from $13 billion to $15 billion for the year 2025. This marks a significant milestone as it is the first time cash assistance is being extended to all adult citizens in Malaysia. Anwar acknowledged that while some individuals may not require this financial support, any unutilized funds by the end of the year will be redirected to assist vulnerable groups in 2026. This announcement comes in the wake of a planned protest scheduled for July 26 in Kuala Lumpur, where demonstrators are calling for Anwar's resignation due to rising prices and unmet reform promises. In addition to the cash handout, the Prime Minister has introduced several measures aimed at enhancing revenue and productivity for 2025, including an increase in the minimum wage, adjustments to electricity tariffs for heavy users, and the introduction of new sales taxes on certain imported fruits and luxury items. While these measures are primarily aimed at large corporations and wealthier individuals, critics express concern that the increased costs will ultimately be passed down to consumers, particularly those from lower and middle-income backgrounds. The police anticipate that between 10,000 and 15,000 people will participate in the upcoming protest organized by opposition parties. Acknowledging the public's grievances, Anwar stated that the cost of living remains a pressing issue that requires ongoing attention, despite the various measures already implemented. He also mentioned that additional initiatives to support those living in poverty will be unveiled on July 24. Moreover, the government plans to reveal details regarding a long-awaited adjustment to blanket subsidies for the widely used RON 95 transport fuel before the end of September. Following these changes, fuel prices at the pump are expected to decrease to Rm 1.99 per liter from the current Rm 2.05. However, foreign nationals will be required to pay the unsubsidized market rates for fuel. Analysts have indicated that the proposed changes to the fuel subsidy rationalization scheme, initially scheduled for mid-2025, could impact Malaysia's fiscal consolidation efforts. Kenanga Investment Bank economist Mohammed Saifuddin Sapuan noted that while the cash handout and subsidy measures are essential for stimulating domestic demand amidst global uncertainties, they also raise questions about how the government will finance these initiatives without straining its fiscal targets. Fitch Ratings' Kathleen Chin warned that any delays or insufficient progress in subsidy rationalization could jeopardize the government's goal of reducing its deficit to 3% by 2028. In his televised address, Anwar also declared September 15 a public holiday, allowing Malaysians to enjoy an extended weekend from September 13, a Saturday, through Malaysia Day on September 16. He stated that this holiday aims to celebrate the unity and significance of Malaysia's formation, encouraging families to strengthen their bonds by visiting their hometowns or enjoying local vacations. Malaysia PM Anwar Ibrahim announces cash aid and fuel price cut amid rising costs. In a bold move to address the escalating cost of living in Malaysia, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has unveiled a comprehensive package of economic relief measures. This announcement comes amidst growing public discontent and a planned protest in Kuala Lumpur, calling for his resignation over rising prices and unmet reform promises. The new measures include a significant cash infusion directly into the pockets of Malaysian citizens. Starting from August 31, every adult Malaysian above the age of 18 will receive a one-time payment of 100 ringgit, $23.67. This initiative, part of a larger effort to distribute 15 billion ringgit, $3.55 billion, in cash aid for 2025, represents an increase from the initially allocated 13 billion ringgit. In addition to the cash aid, the government has pledged to reduce fuel prices. By the end of September, the price of RON 95, a widely used transport fuel, is expected to drop to 1.99 ringgit per liter from the current 2.05 ringgit. However, a notable twist in the fuel subsidy plan is that foreign nationals will be required to pay the unsubsidized market price, a detail yet to be clarified in terms of enforcement. Prime Minister Anwar acknowledged the ongoing challenges faced by Malaysians in managing their daily expenses, despite previous measures aimed at boosting revenue and productivity. These earlier initiatives included a minimum wage hike, increased electricity tariffs for heavy users, and an expanded sales and services tax. The government is set to reveal further assistance measures targeting the poor on Thursday. These additional efforts are part of a broader strategy to mitigate the impact of rising living costs, particularly on lower and middle-income groups. Economists have mixed reactions to these measures. While some view them as necessary to stimulate domestic demand in the face of global economic uncertainties, others express concerns about their potential impact on Malaysia's fiscal consolidation plans. The delay or inadequate implementation of the fuel subsidy rationalization scheme could jeopardize the government's goal of reducing the deficit to 3% by 2028. As Malaysia navigates these economic challenges, the effectiveness of these relief measures and their implications for the country's fiscal health will be closely watched by both citizens and international observers.